Good morning. It's Wednesday. It's day 12 of the Cry Mercy Tour, and it's a lovely, serene morning at Crystal Lake, although I understand it's going to pour today. But right now it's nice. In fact, let me show you out the window. It's very bright when I go out the window, even though it's not a bright day. This is the lovely, calm lake. Very pretty. Some birds flying and all that kind of thing. Anyway, I'm coming to you from Francesca's Mind Stream, and Francesca has sent me some coffee. Coffee. Have some coffee, Toni. She sent me some questions to answer while I sip my coffee, and the first one was about, she said, what's your favorite tarot deck and why? Well, I use the tarot deck I use is called the Gilded Tarot. It's by, here's the back of the cards. It's by an Italian artist named Ciro Marchetti, and this one is out of print, but I think there's still quite a few out there available. But he's got a new one out called the Tarot of Dreams, which is also very beautiful. And you don't choose a tarot deck, it chooses you. This is the 6th one I bought. The first 5 were all nice, and I learned a lot and learned the cards from them. But until I held this deck in my hands, I was just repeating back what I had memorized. I was not actually interpreting and reading the cards. Everything changed when I got this deck, and that's what I'd been told. I was told you had to keep trying decks until you found one that speaks to you. So if you're interested in tarot, you need to do the same thing. And don't let those old decks go to waste. Pass them on to other readers, and they will find one that speaks to them. I still hear from one person to whom I gave one of my decks, and it turned out to be kind of her magical deck, and she still uses it today. So do that. Okay, I've seen you drinking coffee out of a rather ginormous coffee mug. You bet. It says, so do you favor a plain coffee or do you prefer a special blend? Do you like your coffee strong or weak, sugar and milk, or black? I like dark roast coffee, no flavoring, very strong, with raw sugar and a little bit of light cream. And the light cream's an indulgence, I know, but I only have a couple of cups of coffee a day. And in fact, the rest of the time I don't really use a lot of milk. I use soy milk in my cereal. And I eat giant mounds of tofu, and I don't do it because it's good for me. I do it because I actually like it. But I want my coffee the way I want my coffee. So there. I don't go in much for flavored coffees, with a couple of exceptions. I like the chicory coffee you get in New Orleans, and I like the real Southern pecan coffee, not pecan artificial flavoring from the grocery store, but the kind that they make in certain parts of the South where they roast the pecans and mix it in with the coffee. And I have tried to do this at home and had disastrous results. So I don't actually know how they do it, but it's good. Okay, how did the concept for Mercy's Talent, the press, come about? Oh, it's a neat concept with some very nasty potential side effects. Well, it was either because I was an enormous Star Wars geek and wanted to be able to do Jedi mind tricks, or because I read The Firestarter by Stephen King and was interested in the talent that the little girl's father had. Now, his was interesting because it, first off, caused him physical harm, and second, sometimes had weird side effects for the people he did it to. I wanted mine to be more about the ethical dilemma of having the ability to get people to obey you and yet not using that for your own personal gain. If you've read the entire series, you know that Mercy at one point doesn't, she presses somebody. It's not to his detriment, but she presses somebody to help her out with fixing a problem. It's actually to help somebody else out, but it's out of guilt, out of something she's done to put somebody else in a bad position. So she presses someone else to help him. She feels really bad about it because that's kind of crossing the line for her. I'm sure that if I had the ability to compel people to obey me, that I don't think I'm up to the ethical challenge. I think I would probably, get somebody to stop by and clean my house for me, or write me a check for $1,000 in a weak moment. So, I also wanted it to be a bit of a loose cannon. She loses control of her ability when she drinks too much, which she does more often than she should, or when she loses her temper, which she does very frequently. So I wanted to make it a little bit different. Okay, I noticed that you've been published by Elora's Cave, as have I. Will you ever write erotic romance again, or have you found your happy place writing urban fantasy? I don't just write urban fantasy. If you saw my video yesterday, I read from a straight ahead women's fiction novel that I'm working on. Um, and yeah, I may write some erotic romance again. I don't know. I've got some stuff outlined. Alora's Cave was my first publisher. They got me started. The first book was called Witch's Night with a K. I don't have a copy to show you, but I can always get more. That is one nice thing about the small press is they're almost print on demand. If a bookstore calls and orders 50 copies and they don't have 50 copies in the warehouse, they'll go print a couple hundred so that to stock back up and fill the order. So that's nice. Forever. They don't ever put anything permanently out of print, and I like that. Um, and and the thing is, though, with Witch's Night, if I were to, have that as a a brand new manuscript unpublished today and take it to Elora's Cave, it would be rejected as not being erotic enough, and it's pretty damn erotic. But that industry, that whole erotic romance industry, has ramped up a bit on just what they consider erotic, and the little series of books that I have outlined, it might be a challenge to make them naughty enough for Elora's Cave, and I haven't gotten to them for a couple of reasons, mainly just because I'm busy. And it's not that I don't like writing erotica, but I do get a little bit tired of describing orgasms. Okay, I may be able to think of, the Kama Sutra, many positions and ways and reasons and places and circumstances under which to have sex, but at some point, since these are being written for women, women want to hear about the orgasm. And I just don't know 200 ways to have an orgasm. It's like I have a friend who says, the next time this happens, I swear I'm just putting a nut and a bolt on the page and moving on. No, it's not quite that bad, but yeah, describing orgasms gets old for me. And Francesca asked if I would do a tarot reading for her today. Oh, I just wanted to show you I got my favorite card today. The Fool. He was my card today. He's my fave. Look him up. I'm not going to take up Francesca's time to tell you what my card means. Okay. All right, Francesca, I actually already pre-shuffled these a little bit, so I didn't have to do a long shuffle on the camera. And I'm going to cut the cards and think of Francesca. Cutting the cards for Francesca. Okay. And we will take a look and see what we have here. We have the Two of Pentacles, Temperance, and the Eight of Pentacles. Okay, Pentacles is the tarot suit that has to do with the things that you need to take care of your material needs. They're sometimes actually referred to as coins. No, I don't have a cold. It's just early in the morning, and sometimes I'm a little snotty. Okay, look at this guy, the Two of Pentacles. He is the happy juggler. Look at him. He is tossing his pentacles in the air. This is about being very skilled and being very confident in your skill and sort of being in the zone. I mean, you see a juggler juggle, and they don't look at their hands. They don't look at the balls. It's just they catch them. They just know it's going to happen, and it's about being confident about what you're good at. Now, the center card, Temperance, this is the woman of the world. Temperance is not about not doing things. This, like temperance societies were about not drinking. This is about balance and knowing how much you can get away with, which you do. Now, moving forward, when I'm running out of time, we have yet another Pentacles card. This is the Eight of Pentacles, and this is about all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. So this is saying it's good to be productive, but don't wear yourself out. Now, I was going to sign a book plate, but I'm out of time. Talk to everybody soon. Bye.